Good morning. Good morning. Thank you all for coming. My name is Paulette Chappelle. I'm the Public Information Officer and the Law Enforcement Coordinator Specialist for the U.S. Attorney's Office, Eastern District of Arkansas. And today you're going to be hearing from the U.S. Attorney, Jonathan D. Ross, as well as leadership from the Drug Enforcement Administration and the Arkansas State Board of Pharmacy. At this time, I'm going to turn it over to U.S. Attorney Ross.
We're here today to announce arrests in Operation Rich Off Meds. This case involves allegations that an organized crime ring of at least 18 individuals from Houston, Texas, targeted mom and pop pharmacies throughout Arkansas for theft of more than $1.5 million of opioid medications and other prescription drugs to include oxycodone, hydrocodone, Xanax, and promethazine with codeine cough syrup. These burglaries happened between February of 2022 and November of this year. The pharmacies involved were in the following communities: Alma, Atkins, Beebe, Benton, Berryville, Bismarck, Bryant, Cabot, El Dorado, Greenwood, Jonesboro, Malvern, Magnolia, Marmaduke, Mount Ida, Russellville, Searcy, Sheridan, Stuttgart, and Truman. The perpetrators used the internet to scout out rural pharmacy locations. They traveled by rental car from Texas to Arkansas, where in the early morning hours they would shatter the glass at pharmacy locations, then low crawl on the floor to evade motion detectors, and systematically remove dangerous opioid, benzodiazepine, and other scheduled medications from pharmacy shelves. These narcotics were then returned and distributed to the streets of Houston, Texas. The indictment charges thefts from 13 pharmacies located in Arkansas, where over 96,000 tablets of opioid medications were stolen. And the street value of all these substances stolen in the Arkansas burglaries is valued at close to $1.6 million. On November 28th of 2023, the Little Rock Drug Enforcement Administration, along with numerous state and local law enforcement partners in Houston, Texas, arrested 18 organization members charged in our Arkansas indictment. 7 of those defendants appeared in the U.S. District Court for the Eastern District of Arkansas here in Little Rock yesterday, and the remaining defendants will appear in January. During the arrest operation in Houston, law enforcement seized 6 firearms, approximately $79,000 in U.S. currency, and custom jewelry retailing at approximately $330,000, which are proceeds from the sale of stolen pharmaceutical drugs. This indictment is the result of countless hours of investigation and surveillance by the DEA Pharmaceutical Diversion Division in Little Rock, and a testament to their cooperation with federal, state, and local law enforcement agencies throughout Arkansas, Texas, and Oklahoma. This effort is part of an organized crime drug enforcement task force that identifies, disrupts, and dismantles the highest level criminal organizations that threaten the United States. I want to especially acknowledge the lead investigators on this case, DEA Diversion investigators Eli Folks and Matt Bissonette. And also want to commend Arkansas State Police. We're joined by Colonel Hager and Major Stacy Rhodes here today. State Police was instrumental in helping us do some of the traffic stops that led to some of the advancement of the investigation. And countless other federal law enforcement agencies were a part of helping us bring this all together. And so I just want to point out that the investigation and indictment of this kind represents the best results of cooperation and collaboration by law enforcement personnel and prosecutors working with appropriate oversight from our judicial branch. It continues to be the mission of the United States Attorney's Office for the Eastern District of Arkansas to protect the public from unlawful distribution of dangerous narcotics and violent crime. Thank you.
Now you will hear from the Diversion Program Manager, Connie Overton, from the DEA New Orleans Field Division.
Good morning. Thank you for the opportunity to speak before you. I'm Connie Overton, the Diversion Program Manager of the New Orleans Field Division, which encompasses the states of Louisiana, Arkansas, Alabama, and Mississippi. And I just wanted to give you a little bit of context of what we do as diversion investigators. The Diversion Control Division is the regulatory arm of the Drug Enforcement Administration under the authority of the Controlled Substance Act. We work to prevent, detect, and investigate the diversion of controlled substances while ensuring an adequate and uninterrupted supply of controlled substances for scientific and medical purposes. Here in Arkansas, there are 5 diversion investigators assigned to the 75 counties here, in addition to 2 tactical diversion squads that investigate criminal investigations related to controlled substance violations. Diversion investigators perform regulatory inspections, educate registrants on the rules and regulations related to controlled substances to ensure compliance and accountability. In addition to the regulatory side, they conduct various investigations ranging from administrative, criminal, civil, and complaint investigation. And they also do investigations related to pharmacy burglaries. The burglaries of the 20 Arkansas pharmacies not only affected the pharmacies, but had an impact on the communities that they serve. Patients either had to wait on new supply of controlled substances or go to other pharmacies in order to have their prescriptions filled. The $1.6 million of the estimated street value did not take into account the economical value that it had on the pharmacies that were targeted by these individuals. That includes the loss of revenue, the impact of them having to repair and replace damaged properties, and the reordering and restocking of controlled substances. As DEA diversion investigators, we will continue the mission to ensure that our supply chain remains intact and uncompromised by any individuals. This investigation was worked by 2 experienced diversion investigators, Eli Folks as well as Matt Bissonette. They use old-fashioned methods in addition to modern-day technology in order to do their investigations. They collaborated and coordinated their investigations with deputized task force officers, our fellow special agents, not only from DEA, but also from FBI, intel analysts, highly specialized and experienced SOD diversion investigators, and in addition to state and local law enforcement officials. This resulted in the arrest of 18 individuals. This resulted in 18 arrests across in the Houston, Texas area. And with this, we are very thankful for the partnerships that we have with these individuals and the state and local officials. But most importantly, we're truly grateful to Assistant United States Attorney, Ms. Ann Gardner, for her continued support and guidance throughout this investigation. Thank you.
And now you will hear from Jared Harper, who is the Assistant Special Agent in charge of the Little Rock District Office of the DEA.
Thank you, and good morning. My name is Jared Harper. I'm the Assistant Special Agent in charge of the Drug Enforcement Administration. I'm very proud of all the local, state, and federal officers and DEA agents and task force officers, as well as our diversion investigators who spent countless hours identifying, targeting, tracking, locating, and apprehending these violent targets who all had roles in this conspiracy to possess with the intent to distribute Schedule II and through Schedule V pharmaceuticals, which also involved money laundering and the burglarizing of over 20 commercial pharmacies across the state of Arkansas. 18 targets were brought to justice over a 3-day period in Houston, Texas, for committing over 20 commercial burglaries across this state in approximately 21 months, and stole over 96,000 tablets of just Schedule II pharmaceuticals. not including Schedule 4 and Schedule 5 narcotics. The street value, as previously mentioned, of these stolen pharmaceuticals, nearly $1.6 million. Starting November 28th of this year for 72 hours straight, numerous local, state, and federal law enforcement were in Houston, Texas, and effectuated the apprehension of all 18 defendants who were involved in this criminal enterprise, resulting in the seizure of 3 handguns and 3 high-powered rifles, $79,000 in illicit U.S. currency, and approximately $330,000 worth of custom-made jewelry. Make no mistake, our DEA Special Operations Division, our DEA Diversion investigators, our agents, task force officers, and numerous state, local, and federal partners, many of whom are here today, to include the Arkansas State Police, we make our biggest impact when we do these things together. We are committed in investigating the diversion of controlled pharmaceuticals, and our DEA mission is saving lives and ensuring the public health and safety of all Arkansans. The DEA and our state, local, and federal partners, along with the U.S. Attorney's Office in the Eastern District of Arkansas, will continue to identify, disrupt, and dismantle and bring to justice the most violent, gang-affiliated criminal operatives, such as in this case, to reduce crimes of violence and save American lives. Thank you.
And lastly, we will hear from John Kirkley from the Arkansas State Board of Pharmacy.
Thank you, and thank you for being with us this morning. I just want to say quickly, as a pharmacist and as the director of the Arkansas State Board of Pharmacy, I got many of these disheartening calls from my colleagues, my friends, my fellow pharmacists when they would come into their store and discover that overnight they'd been broken into and they'd had a loss of controlled substances. For most of us as pharmacists, our worst nightmare is to see pill bottles like this that should be protected in the pharmacy and dispensed from legitimate prescriptions to our patients roaming out on the streets where they can harm our friends, our family, and our children. Watching the partnerships that we have all seen today right here with the U.S. Attorney's Office, especially with our DEA diversion group, it's something that a lot of people don't realize, that the state police, that we're all friends. We will work on these things together and we're resources for each other. So I just want to thank everyone up here today that this is an absolute wonderful end to a tragic story, and I look forward to seeing more results like this to come in Arkansas. Thank you.
That concludes our prepared remarks at this time. Before I turn it over and ask for questions, let me just ensure there are no more remarks to be made. Are there any questions? Yes.
Are you confident that these 18 individuals represent the entirety of the operation?
Is that Harper?
These investigations continue to evolve. We will continue to look at every lead in this case. Again, these cases are laborious, they're methodical, and as previously mentioned, there's a lot of evidence in these cases. So we will continue to look at every piece of evidence in this case to unravel every single lead that we have to come to a conclusion at some point. So thank you for that question.
Dale, I believe you had your hand up.
Thank you. Do these folks just operate in Arkansas, or were they in other jurisdictions as well? Will they be charged in other jurisdictions?
Harper.
Yes, thank you for that question. So we spoke about the case in chief here in the Eastern District of Arkansas, is where this conspiracy is being prosecuted in the Eastern District of Arkansas. So again, we will continue. If this case advances beyond Arkansas, we will continue to chase those leads. We will, again, there's thousands and thousands of miles that have been driven in rental cars. As previously mentioned, people have traveled all across the globe, and we will chase every single lead. So if they go into other states, we will chase those leads. Everybody involved in this conspiracy will be prosecuted to the fullest degree.
Where are these 18 people being held currently?
So 11 of them were here yesterday. 6 of them are in custody. at different locations related to other offenses, and they'll be here in January. But
Is there any surveillance video available of like them crawling on the floors and other things that you mentioned?
Exact Harper. We're not going to have a comment on that. It's still investigation going on. And thank you for your question. Are there any additional questions, Dale?
I have one more. Y'all said something about violent gang-affiliated offenders. Is this part of a street gang? Do y'all know what's in a specific?
I'll speak to that. Dale, I think you'll notice in our press release that we're about to issue immediately after this press conference a reference to organized gang activity out of the 5th Ward in Houston. I'll also point out that the Operation Rich Off Meds name comes from a hashtag Rich Off Meds social media tag that members of this group were using when they were posting, as they were proud of some of the jewelry that they obtained from the profits from the activity. And so, yes, this case does, we believe, involve organized criminal activity with group members there in Houston.
Are the warrants that were in court, are they in Pulaski County juvenile lockup, or in other words, where that video where we can symbolize where they are?
I'm not familiar exactly where everyone's at. The marshals they were arrested in Houston on the 28th. They were detained there in Houston, and they were being transported here, and several of them were arraigned yesterday here in Little Rock. And so where they are currently held after yesterday's arraignments is something I'm not, able to comment on. I don't know that specific information as of today. That's a question for the Marshal Service and as to where they have put each individual who's in custody or remains in custody.
Yes, ma'am.
About how social media could have helped you find these people because of that hashtag and everything. Was it a big help to find them?
Speak to that. It's a good question. We certainly look at all public postings that are available on social media. People are proud of some of the things nefarious that's on there, unfortunately. So we will continue to look in those avenues for evidence, which we did, and we found some, and we will continue to look. So thank you for that question.
If there aren't any more questions, again, thank you for coming and have a wonderful day. And that concludes our press conference.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, we'll get our stuff and take us back over.
Took me a few times to figure that out.
Looks like a McKesson tag.